So Chloe, over to you then. Tell us a bit about yourself and your career to date.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Obviously, my name is Chloe Wall. I'm an operations manager in the chilled food department at AF Blakemore in Hall. It's in the West Midlands. I've been with the business for 8 years this month. I joined at the age of 18 and I started my management career in a team leader role at the age of 20. In relatively quick succession, I was promoted to a warehouse supervisor in an ambient, fast-moving warehouse, where I continued to perform well and gained a further promotion to a warehouse shift manager. Almost a year later, I was promoted to ambient warehouse manager, where I was responsible for 3 different warehouses within the ambient infrastructure, and I had a staff profile of 140 warehouse operatives covering a multitude of warehouse processes. In March of this year, I was promoted into my current role, where I look after the entire chilled food operation, which processed £63 million worth of sales last year. I have a team of around 150 warehouse operatives and 13 managers across a 24/7 operation. And in July of this year, I won an Amazon Every Woman Award for my achievements in the ambient department over the past year, which has probably been the highlight of my career so far.
Wow, that's a lot of promotions. How have you managed to consistently get promoted?
I've always been a big believer of you get out what you put in. So I've consistently worked hard, tried to do over and above what's expected of me in my job role, and I've always strive to achieve more. I think it's important to act as a role model to everyone around you, help the colleagues that work for you and with you to raise the overall team performance, and in turn you reap the business rewards when everyone starts working more efficiently. And whilst dedication, flexibility and loyalty have aided me in getting so many promotions in such a short space of time, I think ultimately what matters is my inherent will to do the best work possible. And because of that, I've been able to achieve some of the best productivity outputs and financial results that my department had ever achieved.
My goodness me. One of the barriers to progress for our members is feeling like they're progressing and getting those promotions and becoming a manager. And you manage 150 people at the age of 20. That's a massive achievement. What advice would you give to other aspiring managers?
Thank you. The advice I'd give to other aspiring managers is to step outside of your comfort zone, be brave, and you'll learn more than you ever have about yourself. You'll grow confidence and you'll maximise your potential. And being the only female and the youngest member of the senior operations team at AF Blakemore, I found myself in situations where I've had to influence older and more experienced managers, but I've not let that dampen my drive and my ambition to succeed. And it's really important in those situations to turn your fear into power, to be confident, to embrace your difference as an upcoming manager with fresh ideas. And whether it be that you're the only female in the room, you're the youngest person in the room, or you're the most inexperienced, your passion and your hunger to learn and to succeed will always be your power, so you might as well use it to your advantage. I think just remain focused on your goals and don't give up even when things aren't going your way, and never ever doubt that you're valuable and you're powerful and you're capable of achieving the things that you want to.
Okay, so that's all really good and really positive and really brilliant, but tell us something that's been difficult. Like, what's been the biggest challenge for you in your career?
I think probably the sheer volume that we've had to deal with as a business throughout the pandemic has been the most challenging for me personally. And luckily we were able to hold the key worker status, but that comes with its own set of responsibilities. So we're still working really hard in the warehouses, we're still delivering into our stores and trying to provide excellent customer service, which came with its own set of challenges with changing restrictions all the time. But I think the pandemic has really allowed society to realise what an important part that we all play. And it's definitely demonstrated how undervalued wholesale was previously. And I think if we'd have been asked to operate to the same constraints we have as part of the pandemic prior to it happening, it probably wouldn't have been an option as part of the warehousing environment, but we were forced to adapt and overcome that situation.
Okay, so can you give us a bit more detail on how you dealt with that, how you overcame it, any personal, not just as a business, but any personal challenges that you had during that time and how you got through it?
Yeah, I think prior to the pandemic, I'd been working on improvements in our core processes, which is what I strive myself to do in all of my job roles, which allowed me to take the necessary actions to alleviate the strain of the excess volumes on the operation. And what I always say to my team is you can never be more than an hour away from your operation if you're always on the ball every hour. So we used to get together for meetings every single hour to discuss where we were at. And like I say, you can never be more than 1 hour out. Then if something's going wrong, we're able to fix it within that hour. And that really enabled me to direct my team to deliver our customer needs seamlessly. There really is no I in team when it comes to managing a department, and there's so much value in having a strong knit team, especially when you're going through a tough time. And I think just my advice to any of us that are going through a work crisis is, firstly, always communicate transparently about the situation, as it really plays a huge role in how your group reacts and moves forward. And secondly, to celebrate the large and the small wins. It's easy to dwell on everything that's going wrong in times of crisis, and particularly in the pandemic, which eventually would result in low morale. But celebrating even the small wins gives the team reminders that their work is valuable, and that was really essential to me over the pandemic. I really would have been lost without my team.
Right, Chloe, I'm going to ask you something that I haven't already sent you, okay? So just be honest and feel, just be yourself. So what would you do if your team didn't agree with you? I mean, it must be quite important to have the support of people and to be popular as a manager. When you've got 150 people that you're managing, how do you deal with it if someone doesn't agree, if people don't agree with you?
I think I've definitely had situations like that, and I've definitely been in circumstances where people don't respect me because I'm a younger woman. So I have to manage people that are male, probably in their 50s, and they think, why should I have to listen to her? So you have to kind of really earn respect as a young woman. You have to demand respect from those people. And I think the proof really is in the pudding then. So your results will gain people's respect and confidence in you as a manager. And unfortunately, that's something that I've had to do. I've had to really work to gain people's respect and kind of get their faith and trust in me, which probably other people wouldn't have those challenges. But people have had their confidence in me, and we've managed to create a really strong knitted team. So,
where do you get your drive from, Chloe? Where do you get all that? Because you have such a clear vision and you know what to do. Where does that come from?
I've always wanted to do well, and I always have that perception that the sky is the limit for me, and I feel like I haven't hit my ceiling. I feel like I'm not going to hit it anytime soon. I really want to just keep doing well, smashing barriers. And I think for me, there was no other females in the management team when I joined. I was the first female team leader. There's 3 other women in the management team now. So I get my determination and my motivation from kind of paving a way and a path for other people like me, other people that aren't as confident as probably I am to kind of want to take these roles on, but they feel like they can't because they're male orientated environments and they're just a bit less confident than I am. And I think if I can do it, then anybody can.
How important is it to, this is a question actually that from me, how important is it to support other women? Because you're seeing people come through the ranks now underneath you probably. Do you treat everyone equally, or do you think I need to support women to help them? They need more support.
No, I don't think I treat people any differently. I like to pave the way for women because I think women have a different perception on the world of work, and they have a different perception on where as an environment as well, and they can bring a lot of different ideas that, for example, before I worked in the warehousing, we didn't offer part-time roles for working mothers, which is something that I've brought into the warehouse, which I think is really important, to be able to make those jobs more appealing and create a magnet to pull people into the industry. So I don't treat people any differently, but I think it's really important that we have an overall and kind of more diverse team, because we're only going to go one way if we've only got one set of people and one set of managers, whereas if we've got a really diverse team, we've just got a stronger team together. So different ideas, new things. So
yeah, completely agree with that. And have you got any other ideas about how we can make Wholesale a better place to work?
I think definitely whilst we do a lot more to support diversity within the business world, and a great example is this conference, and I feel really privileged to be a part of it. I do feel like we could do more to improve equality and diversity within the workplace, and there is still a huge gap in women that work in male orientated environments, because I think they're quite intimidating. And the key to that is raising the profile of the industry to attract a diverse as possible a range of employees who can be better connected to our customers. And I think it's about providing brilliant opportunities to progress. So there's a lot of wholesale leaders who've started on the shop floor, for example, and because those shop floor roles aren't necessarily attractive to women, we need to keep our focus on making those roles more appealing, to kind of push women into those roles. And we just need to keep finding ways to continually innovate and excite the industry to kind of create that magnet to pull people towards it. And I truly believe that now we're paving a way to a better future for equality and diversity. So thank you for inviting me to speak today, because I really am honoured, and it's really important that we do change the future for the future women and the women around us that are probably less confident than we are, that want these jobs and that could do really well in these roles.
Absolutely, completely agree. And we're not done with you yet, Chloe. Don't go anywhere. I've got some questions here. So, right, we have got from Tracy Redfern, what tips do you use to maintain your confidence when you experience challenges from older team members?
To be honest, I don't see myself as any different to them. So why should I feel inferior to them because I'm a woman? Why should I feel inferior to them because I'm younger than them? They might be more experienced, but I've got the same ideas, I've got better ideas, I can put a different spin on than what they can in every situation. So they do have experience under their belt, but I will have that eventually. I know that I can bring new things to the table that probably they haven't thought of. And like I said, the part-time solution for women, it's something that's so simple, but something that wasn't considered before, because the shifts that we offered they weren't appealing to working mothers. So
thank you for that. Dave Nichols asks, do you think that as a woman that you have to work harder to gain the respect of your team and colleagues?
Definitely. And it's really unfortunate that we have to do that. But like I said, you really have to demand respect as a woman. It's not earned. And I think when you walk into a room, and it's happened to me before, I've walked into a room where people think you're just a team maker and you're not the senior person in that room, when actually you are. It's just people's assumption that because you're young, because you're a woman, you're not there and you don't have the same purpose as what an older male would have, for example. So you definitely have to work harder. But like I say, it's really important now that we use these platforms so that people change their opinions and things like that.
Steve Smith says to you, Chloe, I'm a man in my 50s and certainly you've gained my respect this morning. So another question.
I was going to get some criticism then.
Helen Perry says, it sounds like you're very different to the team that you manage. How do you relate to them? So how do you present yourself as an authentic leader? I
think, like I say about that earning respect thing, I do a lot of things with my team. So team building, like I make sure that we walked up Snowdon for charity. I make sure that we've got that strong team bond, and we definitely had that as part of the pandemic. We were all really we was obviously socially distanced. We were struggling to kind of get through the day-to-day without all the challenges and the barriers that the pandemic and the restrictions we're facing. And I think it is really important that your team have the confidence in you. Whilst you may be different, I think you can use that to your advantage because you've all got different ideas. I can put a different spin on things than what some of my team members can, and we work together really effectively that way because we use that to our advantage.